Hey, it's Brian with the Daily News Autos. Today we have the 2017 Ford Escape. Now, the Escape is actually one of the best-selling crossovers in America, and Ford's eager to keep the ball rolling, so they've given it a mid-cycle refresh with a couple styling cues, some changes to the packages and features. Basically, they want it to stay competitive, and I'm here to find out if that's the case. The Escape gets some styling updates as part of the 2017 refresh. It's got a new front end with a new grille, some new headlights, a couple tweaks to the styling all around, and some new taillights in the rear. And if the old Escape was casual Friday, this Escape is definitely more ready for a business conference than it was before. However, that makes it a little bit more boring, or I guess derivative at least. When my colleagues and I were looking at it, we saw everything from a Subaru Outback to a Hyundai Santa Fe in the design. If anything, Ford took what was a sort of funky, different-looking crossover and made it a little less interesting to look at. Overall, though, it's still a good-looking car, and it's still proportioned well, especially for a small to mid-sized crossover. Inside the Escape, though, there's not much new to speak of. There's a new steering wheel, of course, and the new Sync 3 touchscreen system is front and center, but other than that, it's pretty standard Ford. And I think that's actually a good thing in terms of design. The only problem is, despite this funky design, there's a lot to dislike about the fit and finish. There are cheap, hard plastics everywhere, and they rattle when you go over pretty much the slightest bump, either in the city or on the highway. It's not a good look for Ford. I think Ford could do better to give this car some more soft touch materials and make it feel a little bit more premium, especially for well over $30,000. That brings me back to another quibble I've got with the Escape. The Sync 3 infotainment system in this particular car has given me more fits than almost any other system in any car that I've driven this year. Whether the navigation system lags 8 or 9 miles behind me and then shuts off completely, or the car refuses to connect to a satellite radio signal despite being a clear blue day, I've had issues galore with this Sync 3 system. Thankfully, the rest of the cabin's a fairly pleasant place to spend some time. There's a panoramic sunroof, the seats are fairly comfortable, and rear seat passengers will find themselves with plenty of room, even if the seats are a little on the stiff and flat side. There's not much to love in terms of cargo space either, with only 34 cubic feet behind the second row seats and 68 cubic feet when you fold them down. That lags behind top competitors like the CR-V, which boasts 37.2 cubic feet and up to 70.9 when you fold them down. Thankfully, the Escape delivers on driving experience. Of course, it's not exactly perfect. You sort of have to take the good with the bad. The good is that this chassis is really capable. It's actually more fun than you think to throw this thing around the corners. Handles it really nicely. The suspension's pretty good, if a little bit on the stiff side. But overall, it's pretty fun to find a twisty road in the Escape. Unfortunately, this 1.5 liter EcoBoost, meaning turbocharged 4-cylinder, is not exactly the most fun powertrain in the world. It really kind of needs an extra dose of power. And thankfully, Ford offers a 2-liter version that you can get optionally with this. But for the most part, the 1.5 liter is really not doing the trick. I've had to leave it in sport mode most of the time I've been driving it, just to get the sort of real everyday performance that I need out of this thing. So, it definitely looks better, and some of the updates really help as well. But as the competition continues to step it up, especially with a new Honda CR-V coming, a new Chevy Equinox, the Ford is going to start to fall behind pretty quick. Well, that's all for now. I'm Brian with the Daily News Autos, and we'll see you next time.